Hey everyone, I'm Big John, and welcome to another episode of the Diz Ability Show live. Alright, so this week I want to talk about fireworks tips. Now, a lot of people like to cap off their day at the park with fireworks, or sometimes they like to just go to the park just to see the fireworks. But the problem is, guests have the tendency to scout out their spots 2 hours before the fireworks even start. But when we spend the evening at the park and we want to see the fireworks, we have our favorite spot to see it is right next to the cinema on Main Street. That way we have a great view of everything, including Tinkerbell. And and it's just the perfect spot. It really is. Also, it would be a good idea if you have very sensitive ears is to wear noise canceling headphones, because there's a lot of people, especially people like people with autism who have very sensitive ears, so noise canceling headphones would be a good idea if you plan on sticking around for the fireworks. That way even them can still enjoy the fireworks, because the fireworks are for everyone to enjoy no matter what. So anyway, that's my tip. As always, if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, let me know in the chat if you're watching this live, or in the comments if you're watching this later, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode. And now it's time for this week's Top 5. So, Disneyland this past week was doing their 90s night after hours events. And I think that's cool because the 90s were definitely a great decade at Disneyland. So this week, we are going to cover my top 5 things that happened at Disneyland that came out of the 90s. Number 5, Mickey's Toontown. Now, this land opened in 1993, and the story behind it is that Toontown was once a place behind Disneyland where the characters could just escape. In fact, Walt Disney himself was the only non-Toon who knew of its existence. But thanks to Toontown council member Harry Anderson, if you remember him from Night Court, he helped Mickey and his friends open Toontown, and it's such a fun little land. It has Chip 'n Dale's Gadget Coaster, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, and now, of course, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Hi, B-Dog Baseball. Make sure you subscribe if you're just tuning in. And say hi and make sure you subscribe. Right now, we are covering my top 5 things at Disneyland that came out of the 90s. All right, number 4, the Indiana Jones Adventure. Thank you, B-Dog Baseball. So, the Indiana Jones Adventure is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. It opened during the 40th anniversary of Disneyland. Well, we're going to talk more about that in just a few seconds, but it's a fun ride. It has the same vehicle movement as Dinosaur, and it's an amazing ride. I've yet to ride for myself, but maybe next month, because it's amazing, and it's just awesome. It's been around for 30 years now. That's an awesome ride, B-Dog Baseball. Number 3 is a little bit different because number 3 of 90s things at Disneyland is perhaps one of, if not the greatest Disney sing-along songs special, Disneyland Fun. Now, this was a special that they filmed in 1990 when Disneyland was celebrating its 35th anniversary. And it featured the characters and kids enjoying the park and singing some classic Disney songs. Some of them you know, and some a bit obscure, like Making Memories, which is an old Epcot song. But I remember as a kid, the Grim Grinning Ghost song would freak me out, but as an adult, I'm cool with it. Amazing funny how things turn out like that, huh? Number 2, the burying of the time capsule. Yeah, did you have that same experience, B-Dog Baseball? So as I was saying, number 2, the burying of the time capsule. Now, on the day of Disneyland's 40th birthday, they took a time capsule, or a time castle, shaped like the Sleeping Beauty castle, and a lot of cast members and Imagineers put items in it, which was their contributions during the 40th anniversary, and they buried it in a spot near the castle, and it is for the people 10 years from now, for Disneyland's 80th, who will open its remains on the day of Disneyland's 80th birthday, July 17th, 2035. And I'm just going to put it out there. I want to be there when that happens. Because it will be an amazing day, and I wish I could, and I want to be there when that happens. And my number 1 thing at Disneyland that came out of the 90s, Fantasmic. So, Fantasmic opened in 1992, and it definitely became very popular. I mean, after all, they put the show in Hollywood Studios too. Of course, it's a different version, but it's amazing how the show has evolved and a bit declined. Of course, we were there 2 years ago seeing Fantasmic at Disneyland the night before the dragon caught fire. I cannot boast enough about how that was possible. How crazy that was. Being there night before, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a good video of it. But it was still amazing. So anyway, let me know in the chat or in the comments what you think is the best thing at Disneyland or about Disneyland that came out of the 90s. And now it is time for Diz or Dat. Now, on both coasts, Big Thunder Mountain really is the wildest ride in the wilderness. At Disneyland, it's right in the middle of Frontierland, and the queue is outdoors, and there is a dynamite ending. And at the Magic Kingdom, it's currently closed, part of its year-long refurbishment. It is all the way back in Frontierland, and the queue is indoors. And I am hoping that we get that same dynamite ending when it finally reopens next year. So anyway, let me know in the chat or in the comments which version of Big Thunder Mountain you prefer. Diz, the Disneyland version, or Dat, the Walt Disney World version. And now it's trivia time! All right, last week we asked who was the prince in Sleeping Beauty. The correct answer was Prince Philip. All right. Ooh, B-Dog Baseball going with the Disneyland version. All right. All right, congratulations if you knew the answer. So now here is this week's trivia time question. What animal does Kuzco turn into in the Emperor's New Groove? Be the first one in the chat or in the comments with the correct answer, and you will receive 100 cool points. All right, and now it is time to get into round 2 of our March Madness tournament. So, as always, you can vote in the chat or in the comments. If you're a part of the Big John Network Fan Club or Disney Vlog Squad groups on Facebook, you can vote there as well. So here are the matchups for round 2 of our March Madness tournament. Oh, the B-Dog Baseball, the question was, what animal does Kuzco turn into in the Emperor's New Groove? That was the question. So now, here are the matchups for round 2 of our March Madness tournament. Our first matchup, we got Tron Light Cycle Run taking on Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. On one side, we have the Magic Kingdom's latest e-ticket, where you're racing through the grid on a light cycle. And on the other side, you're escaping a First Order Star Destroyer. All right, next up, we have the coaster clash of this round. We have Expedition Everest taking on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So on one side, you're riding your way through Mount Everest and come into close contact with the Yeti. And on the other side, you're helping the Guardians get the cosmic generator back from, as Drax would say, an extremely large man. So it'll be interesting to see how you guys vote on this one. Our next matchup is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train taking on Soarin' Around the World. Now, on one side, you got a classic dark ride coaster hybrid, where you're entering the Seven Dwarfs Mine, where a million diamonds shine. And on the other side, you are on a hang glider flying through some of the world's most amazing icons, and of course the CGI version of the Taj Mahal. And the fourth and final matchup in round 2 of this year's tournament, we have a bit of a 3D throwdown with Avatar Flight of Passage taking on Toy Story Mania. So on one side, you are riding on the back of a Banshee through the planet of Pandora. And on the other side, you are playing these wacky carnival games put together by the Toy Story characters. Now, remember, so those are the matchups in round 2. All right, remember, you can vote in the comments or in the chat. And if you're part of the Disney Vlog Squad or Big John Network fan club groups on Facebook, you can vote there as well. Voting ends this coming Thursday. And remember, if there is a tie, I am the tiebreaker. All right. And before we wrap things up, so there's going to be an SXSW, I think I said that right, conference today by Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro and co-chairman Alan Bergman about making some announcements and the future of the parks. And I'm thinking about going live after that conference to discuss what they talked about. I haven't really decided it yet, but would you like to see that? Let me know so that I can let you know my opinions about everything. Because it's weird that we would be getting big announcements when it's not like at a D23 or Destination D. So we'll just wait and see what happens. So anyway, that's our show. As I said, if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, let me know in the chat if you're watching this live, or in the comments if you're watching this later, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode. For this week's shout-outs, make sure you guys check out Nate, a.k.a. Paging Mr. Morrow. He does great vlogs from the parks all the time. Definitely check him out. Also, make sure you guys check out Princess and the Bear. They do great food vlogs from the parks. Definitely check them out. Also, make sure you guys check out Maria over at LBV TV. She does great vlogs and live streams all the time from the parks as well. Definitely check her out. Also, make sure you guys check out Micah Barnaby's channel at World of Micah. He does some great vlogs there as well. If you haven't subscribed here yet to the Big John Network, what in the Walt Disney World are you waiting for? And ding the bell for notifications so you never miss a second of the fun. And until next time, Kwaherini.